Okay, so you know when someone says health and safety engineer, most people, I think, picture like someone on a construction site, handing out hard hats and stuff.
Right.
But these role catcher resources you sent are way more than just ticking boxes. It's like engineering, but with people at the heart of it.
Yeah, you're like an advocate, but with engineering skills instead of legal ones.
And it seems like a good time to be one, right?
Definitely. Even the Bureau of Labor Statistics says there's going to be like a 4% growth by 2029. So
Oh, wow.
companies are realizing that safety is good business.
Yeah, for sure. It's not just one job title, though, right? What surprised me was how much it changes as you go up the ladder,
Oh,
or
absolutely.
entry level all the way to the top.
Each stage has like completely different things you're doing. You're not
Hmm.
just getting a fancier title, you're actually dealing with different problems.
Yeah.
An entry-level engineer, they might be doing risk assessments, right?
You're right.
Super important. But a principal engineer, they're shaping the entire company's safety strategy. They're looking at regulations that affect everyone. Completely different.
So, like, totally different ballparks.
Yeah.
Let's say you're fresh out of school, you got your engineering degree.
Okay.
What are those first few years like? You're not designing systems straight away, right?
No, you're probably shadowing someone more senior,
Right.
learning how to do those risk assessments, but it's more than just ticking boxes.
So it's not just knowing the rules, it's knowing how to use them.
Yeah, you're learning to see problems before they happen.
Right.
Anticipate, because safety isn't just reacting, it's preventing. You might even get to work on safety procedures early on.
Which is where the training comes in, right? I saw that even entry level might be doing some training.
Oh, yeah, you learn to communicate fast that way, explaining complex stuff to people who've never heard it before.
Making sure they don't, like, blow something up.
Exactly, making sure it sinks in.
So you move up, become a junior health and safety engineer. What changes then?
It's more responsibility, for sure,
Yeah.
leading those assessments, doing inspections.
Right.
But also, you start getting into designing safety equipment. Not just hard hats. Think like ergonomic workstations, safety interlocks on machines.
So you're like a detective, but with engineering tools.
Exactly. And this is where your problem solving is key. Those accidents we talked about.
Yeah.
You're figuring out not just what happened, but how to stop it from ever happening again.
That's got to be rewarding.
Oh, for sure.
Then you move to mid-level, and it feels like the responsibility just skyrockets.
Totally. Now you're in charge of entire safety programs, and you're getting really hands-on designing and improving equipment. It's your expertise making things safer.
And I bet you really see the impact then.
Oh, absolutely. Plus,
Yeah.
you're the go-to person for advice, for training. It's not just telling people what to do, it's creating that culture of safety.
You're like the safety guru, but even gurus have tough days, right? The guide mentioned dealing with complex accidents.
Oh, yeah, those are never fun. It's like untangling a knot in the dark sometimes.
So we've gone entry level to mid-level. Now what about senior health and safety engineer? What's different there?
Think of it as steering the ship for everything safety related. You're overseeing all those programs, developing big picture plans. It's company-wide, not just one department.
So you're making sure safety is just part of how the company works.
Yeah, it's a big responsibility. And when those really complex issues come up, you're the one giving advice.
Like the safety conductor, making sure everything runs smoothly. But if you really want to shape the future of safety,
Right.
there's principal health and safety engineer.
That's the top.
What does it take to get there?
It's not just being at the top. It's like redefining what the top, even IS. You're not just managing safety, you're innovating it.
Right.
You work with the top people to make safety part of the company's values, not just a to-do list item.
Wow, so you're making the rules, basically.
And get this, you represent the company at like industry events, talking to regulators. You're the safety face of the whole place.
That's a lot of influence.
It is.
But okay, rewind back. Let's say someone's listening and thinking, I want that. How do I even start?
Right.
Is it just get the engineering degree and you're good?
Well, education's important, for sure. But the RoleCatcher guide, it's interesting. It emphasizes practical stuff, a lot of stake.
Okay.
It's not enough to know it in theory. You got to know what to do in the real world where it's messy.
So less knowing the textbook, more knowing how to actually use the tools.
Exactly.
But how do you even get that kind of experience before you have the job?
Yeah. They have good tips for that. Internships are classic for a reason. You're right in it. But also, volunteer. Safety committees, even in your town. Research projects, anything where you're showing you're serious.
So even if you're not designing yet, you're collecting data, seeing the problems firsthand.
Exactly. And speaking of skills, there's this section, functions and core abilities. It surprised me. It's not all engineering jargon.
Oh.
They list things like reading comprehension,
Yeah.
active listening.
Wait, they don't teach us that in engineering school.
That's the point. You could be brilliant, but if you can't understand a regulation, listen to someone's worries, think critically.
You're not going to be good at the job.
You're not. It's like we said, advocating. You need people to trust you, get what you're saying.
It's true. So you're the engineer, but also communicator, problem solver.
A bit of a therapist sometimes, yeah.
Uh-huh.
So don't just ask, do I like engineering? Ask, do I like puzzles? Am I a good listener? That human side matters.
It does. Okay, so you've got the skills, the people skills. You land your junior engineer job. Is that it for learning?
No way. And the guide makes that S so clear. This field never sits still. New rules, better tech, it's always changing.
How do you keep up then?
Reading helps. But they give specific certifications that are gold, like the CSP, Certified Safety Professional.
Oh, right. I saw those acronyms. Layman's terms, please.
So CSP, that's like the gold standard. Shows you get safety overall.
So if you want to be the expert, that's the one.
Big help. Then there's CIH, Certified Industrial Hygienist. That's all about health hazards. Chemicals, noise, air quality.
More the science of a healthy workplace.
Yeah. And CHMM, Certified Hazardous Materials Manager. That one's obvious, right? Anything dangerous, you know how to handle it.
So each one goes deep on something specific. Do you specialize early? Or is it more like build up as you go?
It depends what you want to do and what your industry's like. Some folks are niche experts, others are more well-rounded.
So it's figuring out what makes you stand out when applying.
Absolutely. And here's something that helps with that. I wish more people did it. A portfolio.
Oh, yeah, the guide mentioned that. Not just a resume, right?
Right. It's showing off what you've done. Case studies of tough problems you fixed, projects, designs. Instead of saying you're good, you prove it.
Like I can cook versus showing pictures of your amazing food.
Exactly. It shows you take initiative, go the extra mile.
Okay, so we've got education, experience, always learning, even this portfolio. But they're saying more and more people want this job, right? So how do you really stand out in that crowd?
That's where those, I guess, those passions, those things you're into, they can make you different. The guy touched on it. But what do you think? What makes someone, like, amazing at this, beyond the basics?
Right, like what's the secret sauce?
Kinda, yeah. Think about, let's say you studied psychology a bit.
Okay.
Suddenly you're not just making safety rules, you get how people think, you know?
Yeah.
You can design stuff they'll actually UE, not just ignore.
So it's that human factor on top of the engineering.
Exactly. Or maybe you're just really good at explaining things.
Which, let's be honest, with safety stuff, that's got to be key.
Huge. If you can get the CEO to understand the same way as the new guy on the factory floor, that's a gift.
You're like translating safety into like every language?
I like that, yeah.
Can-
And don't dismiss the out there stuff. Passionate about the environment, right? Maybe you could bring that into the designs. Make things eco-friendly and safe.
So you're protecting people and the planet at the same time. That's got to feel good.
It's realizing that safety isn't just don't get hurt. It's about people feeling like they matter, that the workplace is on their side.
Which everyone deserves. So someone listening, feeling that little tug, like this could be them. What's your advice to them? Final thought.
Honestly,
Yeah.
go for it. This field is never boring. There's always something new to learn, and you're making things better. If you want to solve problems, protect people, this could be it, you know?
It's funny because I started thinking it was all hard hats and clipboards, but this has been eye-opening. Really rewarding work, it sounds like.
And this is just us scratching the surface.
Yeah.
RoleCatcher has a ton more, like how to nail the interview, how AI is changing hiring. It's wild.
So yeah, if you're even a little bit curious, go deeper. You never know.
Exactly. Could be designing the safety tech of the future someday.
And we'll be sure to have you back on the show to talk about it when you do.